This episode of Show Me Most Success is brought to you by Mid-America Trade Adjustment Center, a program under MU Extension's Business and Communities. Welcome to Show Me Most Success, where we explore how people turn their passion into action to make a difference, and how MU Extension's Business and Communities program gave them a little assist along the way. I'm Luke Dietterle, Extension Specialist for Business and Communities, and today we have Guy Renshaw, Vice President and General Manager of T&C Stainless, and Becky Nace, Associate Program Director and Project Manager of the Mid-America Trade Adjustment Assistance Center. So Mid-America TAAC, serving Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska, is one of 11 TAAC centers throughout the country. Mid-America TAAC boosts the ability of U.S. companies to compete with less expensive foreign competition. Providing these services helps businesses achieve sustainability, ensuring a good supply of jobs for U.S. workers. Guy, I think we should probably just start off with T&C Stainless. Can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Sure. Thank you, Luke. Started in 1994. T&C Stainless is a family-sized company in Mount Vernon, Missouri. We make high quality and high precision stainless steel tanks for primarily pharmaceutical and biotech companies. We have about 55 employees. I came in 2018 and we needed some help to get on a continuous improvement journey at that time. So that was kind of the beginning of where do we go to find some assistance for some of these programs we want to do.
How was it that you and Becky originally connected?
So originally I was so new in the position here, didn't really know where to start, had some conversation with Missouri Enterprise. They pointed me toward Mid-America TAAC. And that's when Becky and I connected. And really, she took me from there. It kind of led me by hand through the whole process. So that's how it started with Missouri Enterprise and then to Becky.
Becky, what was it that you helped Guy with? Tell us a little bit about that process.
When a firm comes to us, we try to determine their needs, their eligibility requirements, what their import impact is, how much they have already discovered, what they need to do to become more competitive. And in TNC's case, the leadership was at the high end of that knowledge base. They knew where they needed to go, but they needed help. Their import competition comes primarily from Canada and China. Competition was increasing, so it begins with that, determining likelihood of their eligibility. In TNC's case, a well thought out strategy in the beginning, but needing help to implement.
So that first step is assessing their eligibility or readiness. What comes next?
Well, we determine, we believe they'll be eligible. We go about the process of petitioning Economic Development Administration in Washington for funding to assist them. So together we develop a petition form and then also provide them with a strategic plan for how we plan to implement a recovery strategy. And together, Guy and his team and I work together to develop that strategy to submit. Guy felt they needed to update some support systems, the ERP system, CRM, they needed training. We're always glad when companies want to increase the skill set of their employees. And so we went about showing the federal government, who, by the way, our program is administered through EDA in U.S. Department of Commerce. This is federal funding. And at the end of the day, we work to develop a strategy, submit that to the federal government, and they review it. If they feel it's a valid strategy in keeping with the purpose of the program, they approve cost share funding.
Right. This isn't necessarily a grant. This is a 50-50 partnership between the entity and the federal government. So Guy, can you take us back to this phase where you're putting that plan together, and then what does the implementation look like? How long do you have to work on this project?
Becky took us through the qualifications, business levels up and down, foreign competition. As a small business, you've got cash to run the business, you've got cash to buy necessary equipment, but sometimes you don't have the money for the software, the training programs that really should be at the top of the list. Some other things get a higher priority. So when Becky and I discussed it, it looked like we'd be eligible. And we started talking about our biggest need would be business systems. You need software to effectively and efficiently actually run the business. Everything from purchasing and inventory and accounting, all of those, and receiving goods and scheduling. Most of that was done manually or highly manually. It takes more manpower. It's not as efficient. So we were really looking at, hey, what could we do with this 50-50 cost sharing? It definitely gives us a motivation when we don't have to foot 100% of the bill. We could think of some ideas on how we could spend this money. Once we went through the approval process, I thought it was pretty straightforward, Becky, just right financials and sales and downturns and what's affecting your business, the competition, and where could we go with some of these systems. The process was actually, I thought, pretty straightforward. We got through it in 30 or 60 days, just getting everything put together.
The challenge here is that we have U.S. companies competing for cost against low wage worker countries who provide a product that is lower prices because they have lower wage employees. So what do you do to compete? We need to make them more efficient, more cost effective in order to be able to compete in that market. And of course, the highest quality of product that they can provide and give them a competitive advantage in those ways from which to compete with products that are primarily just lower cost coming from outside the country.
Guy, having gone through this program, what's it done for your company?
A lot of our manual processes in running the business are now automated. So that helps you either redeploy people who are in support roles, or it helps you be more effective or efficient on the shop floor in terms of, let's just say, inventory and scheduling, right? That flow is very critical. You order in too many raw materials and then your costs are up, or you don't order enough in and you can't run the shop efficiently and effectively. So I would say from the standpoint of the business having some automation control, some automated controls, it's really helped us scheduling especially, and inventory especially. Those things before were they were not managed, they were not controlled. So all of that drives the cost of the company up when we need to be very competitive, right? So, and I would say also, it makes a benefit on the shop floor as well when these guys and gals know exactly what they're going to be working on that day. There's not a lot of changes around. We have a plan, we have a strategy for the month, the week, and the day. So it really helps our production manager have a kind of a 30,000 foot view of the schedule, as well as right down to the micro level of it.
Making them more cost effective, more efficient does not result in a loss of jobs. In their case, we track how the program has impacted them. So we track their sales and employment over time. We work with each firm for 5 years. So we look at where they are when they come into the program, and we assess every single year where they are. TNC has had a 20% increase in employment. That's positive job growth, and about a 50% increase in sales. So what they have done has made them more efficient, made them more cost effective, enabled them to do things to increase sales, and they've hired more people. So that's the purpose of the program. And when we see these sorts of outcomes, which the national average for companies who participate in the program are about 14 to 17% increase in sales and 12% in employment. So they're beating those numbers in both cases. So we work with firms for 5 years, and throughout those 5 years, we look at their baseline, where they are headcount and where they are on sales when they enter the program. We review it annually and then for 2 years after they're out of the program to determine, was this sustainable growth? And what we find average in the program is about a 12% increase in employment and about 14 to 16% increase in sales. So they have surpassed that. And the good news is also in national studies over the years, the firms that are in the program sustain that growth.
I understand that while there's a lot of planning and help, it's also not very prescriptive, that the company still has quite a bit of leeway in terms of how it is that they're executing this and who they want to be doing business with to make sure that they reach these goals.
We're here in a supportive role. We don't come in to tell a business how to change and run. We start the discussion. I have gone into plants where firms had very little discussion. There were some who felt they had something to add to the discussion that were not at the table. We do bring someone from every aspect of the business, from production, support systems, management, marketing, and sales, all have a say in this on what they feel they need and what they can offer. And in that, we develop strategies together. We're a partner and we're trying to develop things together. I've helped firms develop a new product or create an idea for a new product. So it can be every firm is different and their needs are different.
Guy, if there are other companies out there listening in, what would you say to them?
I would say reach out to Mid-America TAAC immediately and see what programs are available, how it can help you run the business with training and software and things like that. Absolutely. I'm glad we were pointed in the direction of Mid-America TAAC.
I should add another feather in their cap was to point out on the timing. They accomplished this through COVID, and they accomplished these goals and successes during a very difficult time in our economy, and especially for manufacturers in our economy.
From the business management perspective of a smaller company, look, it's one thing to lay out $100,000 for software and training. It's another thing when you know you can do 50 and there's a cost sharing with TAAC. It's just a whole different dynamic in terms of budgeting, right? It's like, hey, we can do this. To me, that part is really what helped us kind of get over the hump. We can't spend that full amount, but we can partner with TAAC. It really made the difference between either doing it or not doing it at all. We're very grateful, really, that we could do it and partner up with them. We will continue using the ERP as we go forward. It's ingrained in us now, and so it's a part of what we do. So thank you, Becky. Really, thanks for all your support during this time and for TAAC and that whole program.
That was Guy Renshaw, Vice President and General Manager of T&C Stainless, and Becky Nace, Associate Program Director and Project Manager of the Mid-America Trade Adjustment Assistance Center, sharing their story of successful collaboration and business growth. Thanks for listening. Make sure to follow us on your podcast app so you don't miss any of our upcoming shows. I'm Luke Dietterle. This episode was produced by Jonathan Mack. Executive producers are Jonathan Mack and Mike Hinata. Senior Program Director for MU Extension's Business and Communities is Dr. Rob Russell. This is Show Me Mo Success.